Here is the brutal truth that nobody wants to admit. You are not failing because you lack talent. You aren't stuck because you don't work hard enough. You are failing because you are carrying dead weight. We have all heard the saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, but that's actually not specific enough. Sometimes it only takes one single person to completely destroy your potential. One anchor is enough to sink a ship, no matter how powerful the engine is. If you feel like you're running a marathon with a backpack full of rocks, this video is for you. We often think of losers as people who are visibly messing up their lives. Maybe they can't hold a job or they are always in trouble, but that is the easy kind of loser to spot. The most dangerous type of loser isn't the one who is failing loudly. It's the one who is failing quietly and dragging you down with them. They are comfortable, they are average, and they are terrified of you becoming anything more than that. Today, we aren't just talking about cutting off toxic people. We're talking about the survival of your future self. We are going to look at why you keep these people around, the massive cost you are paying without even realizing it, and I'm going to tell you a story about a man named Alan that will make you rethink every text message you reply to today. The problem is that we are social creatures. We crave connection. We have history with people. Maybe it's a childhood friend you've known since you were 6. Maybe it's a cousin. Maybe it's a colleague you grab lunch with every day. You rationalize keeping them in your life. You say, oh, he's just going through a rough patch, or she means well, she's just realistic. But deep down, you feel the drain. Every time you share an idea, they find a hole in it. Every time you're excited about a new goal, they remind you of the last time you failed. They don't do it with hate. They do it with concern. They wrap their jealousy in advice. And because you trust them, you listen. You slowly lower your standards to match theirs because it is easier to fighting for your growth alone. You start to believe that being average is safe and that ambition is dangerous. That is the infection. And if you don't treat it, it spreads until your dreams are dead. Let me tell you about Alan. This is a real situation that happens to thousands of people, but Alan's story perfectly illustrates how subtle and deadly this trap is. Alan was a graphic designer. He was talented, really talented. He had an eye for detail that most people in his industry would kill for. He wasn't just good, he had that spark. He wanted to start his own creative agency. He had the plan, he had the skills, and he even had a few potential clients lined up. Then there was Ben. Ben was Alan's best friend since high school. They did everything together. Ben wasn't a bad guy in the traditional sense. He didn't steal from Alan. He didn't punch him. Ben worked a steady retail job, went home, played video games for 5 hours, slept, and repeated the cycle. He was perfectly content with doing the bare minimum. Every Friday night, Alan would say, "Hey, I'm going to stay in tonight and work on my portfolio. I really need to get this website launched." And Ben would say, "Come on, man, you work too hard. The website will be there on Monday. Let's go grab a drink. Let's just hang out. You're becoming boring." Notice the language. You're becoming boring. Ben wasn't attacking Alan's business. He was attacking Alan's identity. He was making Alan feel guilty for having ambition. He was framing Alan's drive as a negative trait. So Alan would go. He didn't want to be the boring guy. He didn't want to leave his friend behind. They would go out, talk about the same old things, complain about the economy, complain about their bosses, and look at old photos. They were reliving the past because Ben had no future to talk about. This went on for 3 years. 3 years. In those 3 years, Alan's portfolio sat there, half finished. His potential clients moved on to other designers who didn't have a Ben in their ear. Alan started to adopt Ben's mindset. When Alan had a bad day at work, Ben would say, "Yeah, bosses are all tyrants. It's not worth the stress. Just do enough to not get fired." Alan started to believe that. He stopped pushing for excellence. He started doing just enough. The sharp edge he had, that creative spark, began to dull. He gained weight. He stopped reading. He started playing video games with Ben every night because it was easier than facing the reality that he was wasting his life. He was comfortable, but he was miserable. He had allowed a loser, someone who had lost the will to grow, to dictate the pace of his own life. The turning point didn't come softly. It came like a car crash. Alan met a woman named Sarah. Sarah was different. She was a driven architect. She was disciplined. She woke up early to run. She talked about ideas, not people. Alan started dating her, and for the first time in years, he felt that old spark coming back. He started talking about his agency again. He started waking up early. Ben didn't like this. Suddenly, Ben wasn't just chill, he became hostile. "Oh, you're whipped boy now? You can't hang out because Sarah won't let you? You think you're better than us now because you're dating an architect? Why are you trying so hard? It's just a job." Alan tried to balance it. He tried to bring Ben along. He invited Ben to dinner with Sarah. It was a disaster. Ben spent the whole night making self-deprecating jokes, complaining about the service, and making subtle digs at Alan's fancy new lifestyle.
Sarah was quiet on the ride home. When they pulled into the driveway, she turned to Alan and said something that cut right through him. She said, "Alan, I really like you. I see who you can be. But that guy, he is drowning, and he is determined to hold your head under the water with him so he doesn't die alone. If you stay close to him, I can't stay close to you. Not because I don't want to, but because I can't watch you destroy yourself." That was the wake-up call. It wasn't an ultimatum from a controlling partner. It was a reality check from someone who was playing the game of life at a higher level. Alan realized that he had been paying a friendship tax for years. The currency was his future. He had a choice. He could keep Ben comfortable, or he could make himself proud. He couldn't do both. The next day, Alan had a huge opportunity. A former colleague called him. They needed a rush job for a massive rebrand. It was a 5-figure contract. If he nailed this, he could quit his job and start the agency. It required working all weekend, non-stop. Ben called on Friday. "Hey, boys' night. I got the new game. Pizza is on me." Alan took a breath. His heart was pounding. It sounds silly that saying no to a video game night feels like a life-or-death moment, but it was. It was a declaration of independence. Alan said, "I can't, Ben. I have a contract I need to finish. In fact, I'm going to be busy for the next few weeks. I really need to focus on this business." Ben laughed. "Dude, seriously? You're going to blow me off for work again? You're changing, man, and not for the better." And Alan finally said it. "I am changing, Ben. That's the point. I'm not happy being where I am. I want more, and I can't do that if I'm living the same weekend over and over again." There was silence on the other end. Then Ben hung up. They didn't speak for a month. It was lonely. Alan felt guilty. He felt like a traitor. But in that silence, he found his focus. He crushed the project. He got the contract. He launched the agency. 6 months later, Alan ran into Ben at a grocery store. Ben looked exactly the same. He was wearing the same jacket. He was complaining about the same manager. He was stuck in the exact same loop. Alan looked at him and felt no anger. He just felt pity. And he felt an overwhelming sense of relief. If he hadn't made that cut, he would have been standing there with him, complaining about the price of eggs instead of running his own company. The lesson here isn't that you need to be a jerk. It isn't that you should look down on people who have less money or status than you. That's not what makes someone a loser in this context. A loser is someone who has accepted defeat and demands that you accept it too. A loser is someone who values comfort over growth. A loser is someone who drains your energy instead of recharging it. When you allow these people into your inner circle, you are telling the world and yourself that you tolerate mediocrity.
You are telling yourself that your dreams are negotiable. You have to protect your energy like it is your life's savings, because it is. You wouldn't let a friend reach into your wallet and burn your money every Friday night. So why do you let them burn your time? Why do you let them burn your motivation? Cutting people off is painful. It feels like amputating a limb. But sometimes the limb is gangrenous. If you don't cut it off, the infection spreads to the heart and you die. The you that could have changed the world dies. The you that could have provided for your family dies. You need to surround yourself with people who are running faster than you. People who scare you a little bit because they are so driven. People who, when you share a big idea, say, "Why not bigger?" instead of "Be realistic." If you are ready to stop apologizing for your ambition, click the subscribe button right now so you never miss the truth you need to hear.